G'day guys, welcome to my round 18 predictions as well as my round 17 recap. It's not going to be too big, I'm quite tired, it's late at night, let's get into the video. So the first game of the last round saw the Panthers up against the Titans. The Panthers took away a win here, their 6th in a row. 24 points to 2, leaving the Titans tryless. They've now sacked Garth Brennan and Luke Burt has taken over as interim coach, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Luke Burt. He's probably one of my favourite Eels players of all time. Penrith really looking good. An okay match from two okay teams. The second game was the Knights up against the Bulldogs. I called this one. I did call the Bulldogs by 4 points and they won this one by 8. 20 points to 14, pulling off a huge upset in Newcastle. Yeah, they've got a lot of confidence here, the Dogs. Third game we had was the Rabbits up against the Sea Eagles. Now that Sea Eagle try was not a try, and I'm telling you now, the reason that I didn't want to make this video is I'm so annoyed at the refereeing over the weekend. I thought it was the worst it's been all year. The Rabbitohs came away with a win close to Golden Point, 21 points to 20 after the Sea Eagles beat them early in the year, but Manly looked good and they play the Eels this week. The next game was the first draw in 3 years. This game was fantastic. The Broncos and the Warriors both grinded it out really gritty. Chanel Harris-Tavita nearly scored a try to win the match in Golden Point, but Payne Haas, a fantastic player, made an amazing tackle that really did count. The next game, I did not expect the scoreline, 40 points to 16. The Melbourne Storm against the Sharks. Cam Smith's 400th in style. Yeah, lots of points here. Brandon Smith was absolutely fantastic, as well as Nelson Asafa-Solomona. I thought Nelson had his best game of 2019. The next game was the Roosters against the Cowboys. Fairly good game, this one. I quite enjoyed it. The Roosters lost this one 15 points to 12. It was almost 13 to 12, but yeah, the Cowboys looked good here and they picked up a win, and this was the only tip I got wrong for the week, which was quite annoying. Then we had to Bankwest Stadium. If you watch my video, the Tigers up against the Eels for Benji Marshall's 300th. Now I picked 28 to 18 and nearly got the score here. It was 30 points to 18. I thought that Tigers try was a bit sceptical, but when you look at Blake Ferguson, I don't think his foot was on the line, but maybe his foot was, and if you have a bunker to decide, I don't want to get into refereeing and annoy myself so much again. And the last game of the round, which was fantastic, the Green Machine are looking so good. If you're a Raiders fan, you'd be so happy. The Raiders absolutely thrashed the Dragons 36 points to 14. Shans Nickel-Klokstad had one of his best games of the season. They look good. That's it from me for round 17. Let's get into my round 18 predictions. Alright, round 18, let's go. So we go to Suncorp for the Broncos against the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have got back-to-back wins and the Broncos have coming off a draw. They're going to be very tired. I'm going to tip the Broncos here by 8. Let's have a look at the ins and outs. I'm going to tip Broncos 22 points to 14. Corey Oates is in. As for the Bulldogs, Kieran Holland is named, Raymond Faitala-Mariner is named, Suase Su is out for the season, and Aiden Tolman is out with injury. I really like Dalen Waitan-Selesniak and Will Hopewade. I thought Will Hopewade was fantastic last week. If he can back them up, the Bulldogs are a massive chance here. I just think with Corey Oates back, that the Broncos are going to be too good here. If their forward pack stands up like it did last week, you got McCulloch and Payne Haas. I think it's McCulloch's 200th, I might be wrong, it's a milestone. I think it's his 200th NRL match, so props to him. Seguiara on the bench. I think the Broncos are going to be too good here in front of a home crowd. The next game in New Zealand sees the Warriors, who are very inconsistent, up against the Sharks. Now, Sharks are favourites here, and I have a lean towards the Sharks. The Warriors, when they play in New Zealand, they really don't play well. They come close, but they can't come over the win. Paul Gallen is in, Matt Moylan, Kyle Flanagan. There's some big ins for the Sharks, but you've also got Josh Dugan, Bakuya and Morris out. Looking forward to the matchup between Fusatua and Feki, two fairly quiet wingers that could score tries, as well as Cody Nikorima and Sean Johnson. I think Sean Johnson really needs to play better. I'm going to tip the Sharks by 10. I'm going to go 28 points to 18 in a fairly high scoring one. I think the Sharks need to win this one, and I do think they can. In Penrith, we go for the Panthers up against the Dragons. Panthers laying favourites are now in the top 8. Dragons in 14th position. Ben Hunt is out. I've heard that he's being rested, which I don't think is the smartest move, but James Graham is named in the side. I don't know if he's in the starting side though. He is. He's playing at lock. That is a big in for the Dragons. Now, Nathan Cleary is in for the Panthers, which is massive, but I do go off my tips as to what I've been feeling all week, and I'm feeling an upset here. I'm feeling like the Dragons are going to pull off a win. I'm not saying they're going to make finals, but I think they can string together some wins, the Dragons. I'm going to tip the Dragons 30 points to 16, 13 plus. I'm going to tip the Dragons by 14 on the back of some of their players having a big game. I'm just worried about Ben Hunt being rested, but they look like a fairly good team, and James Graham is a massive inclusion for them. I'm looking forward between Ravalawa and Brian Toto. There's some really good matchups here. But yeah, I think the Dragons win this one by 14 points. To kick off Super Saturday at the SCG, you've got the Roosters in 4th place playing the dropping 7th place Knights. Now, last time they played, the Knights did a job on the Roosters, but the Roosters here are at full strength and I expect them to win. I'm tipping the Roosters by 12. I don't know if they'll win by more than 12. Kalen Ponga comes back to the side, as well as Aiden Guerra, who is named on the reserves. He's a chance of playing. We'll have to wait and see. They might rest him a bit. Massive ins for the Roosters though. James Tedesco returns in fullback, and Boyd Cordner returns to his position. I think he's on the interchange, is he? No, he's not on the interchange. He is in the second row. That is a massive in. Going to go the Roosters here by 12 points, and I think they can win this one in a fairly low scoring, great defence from both sides match, 22 points to 10. I'm really looking forward to this match here. The Raiders up against the Tigers. The Raiders are in 3rd position. Who would have guessed it? This Canberra side is looking good, and my money at the moment is on a Melbourne and Canberra grand final. We'll wait and see. Nick Kotrick is out due to that. Now, I wouldn't call that a spear tackle. I do think 3 weeks is a fairly decent ban, as long as there's some consistency from the ref. It was definitely a dog shot. There was no need for it. He deserves to be out. But this Raiders team is full strength. Shans Nickel-Clockstad, Jared Croker, John Bateman, Jack Whiten, Jordan Rapiner. There's so many big boys in this side. And Corey Horsburgh is also fairly good. As for the Tigers, I don't know where their firepower is going to come from. I think the Raiders are going to do their classic big point win over the Tigers, and I'm going to tip the Raiders by 26. Yes, I'm going to go the Raiders 38 points to 12. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this one, and I'll get to that in my multi later. Saturday night concludes with the Cowboys moving up from 13th to 10th. Up against the Rabbits, who are 2nd, and they've gotten their first win in 2 months. This is a really hard game to pick. I really wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys get up here at home, especially that Sam Burgess is not out in for the Rabbits yet, and Liam Knight, who I really like the style of how he plays, kind of like Cam Murray, is out. Now, Ethan Lowe returns for them, which is a big boost, and Corey Allen is named. Michael Morgan is rumoured to be in, but I don't know if he'll play. Look, I'm going to tip the Rabbits here by 10, but don't be surprised if the Cowboys win this one at home, as I said. I'm going to tip them 20 points to 10, but I think the Cowboys are in with a massive chance after the confidence of the win at Central Coast Stadium. The next game is the Titans up against the Storm. Now, I'm starting to think that the Storm will win this one by less. There is a lot to get through. This is massive. Out for the Storm, Felice Kafusi, Josh Adokar, Will Chambers, Christian Welch, and Cameron Munster. Sorry, that is massive. Out for the Titans is Shannon Boyd. The Titans have a massive chance to win here and get themselves off the bottom of the ladder. In for the Storm is Eisenhoof, Solomon Akata, Sandor Earl, Marian Survey, who was not playing last week. I was going to back him for a try. Michael Gordon is named on the reserves list. Is he? No, Anthony Don is named on the reserves list. Michael Gordon on the interchange. Michael Gordon is a big in for the Titans. The Storm have way too much firepower here. I think the Storm win this in a big one. But I do expect the Titans to score some points. I don't know where they'll come from, but I think they'll get some points here. Storm by 18, 34-16. And the final game, which I'm still deciding, look, I don't think I'm going to get there, guys. I've been saying it. I want to go. I just think it's going to be really hard to get there on Sunday afternoon with work on Monday morning. Manly Sea Eagles up against the Eels. It should be a good game. Blue and Gold Army for life. I'm going to tip against the Eels this week. I haven't done it in a while. We've strung together 3 wins in a row. I hope we can win this. Last time we played Manly at Brookvale, it was 54-0. Tom Trbojevic is in for Manly, which is massive. In for us is Ethan Parry, named on the reserves. Hopefully he gets a chance of playing. Will Smith, Oregon Kaufusi, and Dan Alvaro. Look, I think it won't be a blowout game. I think it'll be a very close one. Fairly good defence from both sides. I really hope we don't get smashed here. But I'm going to tip Manly by 4, 20 points to 16. So those are my tips. Let's get into my bets. Alright guys, I love doing this. I say this every week. My best bets. Last week my multi got up, which is fantastic. I hope you guys got on board it. Got another great one for you this week. I'm feeling the S's here, and I'm going to back St. George, the Sea Eagles, the Storm, and the Raiders. Now I was going to put the Sharks in there to put the S's, but I think the Raiders are going to win. That's paying $7.11 there. We jump into my try scorers. Now back these individually. This won't happen as a multi. Some of these might fail, but get on board who you think. Corey Oates and Dalen Waitan-Selesniak from the Bulldogs and the Broncos in that game. He's been a bit quiet and off lately. Bronson Cherry in the Sharks and Warriors game. Ravalawa from the Dragons. He's due for a try. The Dragons are going to have a big win, I think. He can cross the line. 2 Raiders, John Bateman and Jared Croker. One of them will score first. I don't know which one. I'm going to put $1 on each. They're both fantastic players, and if they touch up the Tigers, look out. And Clint Gutherson from the Eels, been a little bit quiet, playing against his former club. I think he crosses for a try. Now, I combine that as a multi, it's $925, but I want you to get on it individually. This won't happen, it won't get up. Anyway, mega multi, DWZ, Dalen Waitan-Selesniak, the Sharks, the Dragons, Manly, and the Raiders to win at a margin of 21-30, paying $157. Now, I've never done this before, but it also got up last week. Let's combine the AFL and the NRL. Collingwood 1-39, the Raiders and the Storm 13+, and my Western Bulldogs 1-39. $36.65. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your best bets in the comment. Let me know if you got up from my multi last week. I didn't do very good with the try scorers, but 7 out of 8 in my tips. Let's see if I can get another good round. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys.